Just when you think China cannot sink possibly any lower, they come across and come along to surprise you and prove you wrong once again, because an India that is in mourning right now for its top military officer, his wife and 11 brave souls on board a military helicopter, the Chinese government has officially insulted India, the Indian people, the Indian military and the Indian public, showing absolute lack of ethics and honor. The Chinese government's virulent mouthpiece, Global Times, which cannot be dismissed as any rogue element since it is state-sponsored media of China, has tweeted an article insulting India's top military officer. The Global Times says in its piece that the death of India's defense chief in a chopper crash on Wednesday not only exposes India's military's lack of discipline and combat preparedness, but also deals a heavy blow to the country's military modernization. A country in grief has been insulted by a country that gave birth to the COVID pandemic, and a country that now has shown all complete semblance of ethics and honor to insult its neighbor in grief. Even in conflict, even in war, there is an honor code. There are certain things you simply do not do. But China, through its state-sponsored organ, Global Times, has done precisely that and shown the world and shown every Indian tonight that there is no low that China will not go to. India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan is with me. Gaurav Sawant continues to be with me. Geeta, in many ways, I didn't think this would happen. At the back of my mind, I wondered if China could sink this low, but they clearly have.
Well, the kind of narrative building that we've seen by China in the recent past, Shiv, is another level altogether. It began with the Twitter war between Brahma Chelani and the Chinese wolf warriors, so to say, online, where Brahma Chelani had likened this entire incident to one of the Chinese copters having crashed and then having lost senior officials. To which the Chinese then started this entire war on Twitter about how questioning India's capabilities. And it just goes to show that even now, while the Chinese envoy in India tweets and condoles the death of General Bipin Rawat and 12 others, the Chinese machinery, when it comes to building this narrative, continues. So it is rather disappointing to see what China is doing. But what does one expect of a country that shows no respect for their own in terms of respecting the ones who died for them, for their country, let alone expecting any kind of respect for a country such as India, a country that they consider right now an enemy.
Incredible. Gaurav, your view on this? I have to say that maybe I was naive and I thought that maybe there is some limit to the lack of ethics that China has displayed in the last 18 months. But they've proved us wrong again, Gaurav.
So, Shiv, this is a part of information warfare. This is a part of psychological warfare that China wages against India, because militarily, China has realized that all China's efforts to browbeat India have failed, whether it was at Doklam, where India stared China down and General Bipin Rawat had a key role to play in those operations, or in the quid pro quo operations that India undertook, again, to send a very clear message to China. India wants peace, but not at the cost of China continuing its salami slicing on Indian territory. It may have been acceptable in the past. It's no longer acceptable anymore. So there's a very clear message. China is frustrated, and China's frustration is becoming even more apparent, because this article, it's not just very poor journalism. I mean, anyway, nobody credits China with any form of journalism whatsoever. It's also it's poorly written, it's poorly drafted, put together, and it doesn't convey the fact except bring out China's frustration that it hasn't been able to browbeat India. Point one. Point two, China is under intense global pressure. Yeah. There's a diplomatic boycott happening of China's Winter Games, of the Olympics in 2022.
Very true.
Chinese are virtually frothing in the mouth, and it shows.
It really shows. Okay, Gaurav, you want to take a question with Ambassador Sajjanhar? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure.
We'll get his reactions.
Ambassador Ashok Sajjanhar joins us on the broadcast. Ambassador Sajjanhar, I'm sure you've read this drivel put out by Chinese official media. Some frustrated undersecretary probably in their Ministry of External Affairs, in their Foreign Office, perhaps somebody who may have had to remove the name Muhammad from his name in China, may have ordered this article written. But what do you make of it?
You know what I have heard about it. First thing, Gaurav, I never waste my time in reading Global Times, frankly. Because, it is, as you put it, it's drivel. It is government propaganda by China, and I have seen enough of it to waste my time in further reading it. But what I've been told is that it mentions that it speaks about flaws in the Indian army structures, security, etc. The only thing I can say is, that this is another part of the Chinese psychological warfare, information warfare, the gray zone warfare that we've been talking about, basically trying to demoralize the enemy and trying to win a war without firing a single shot. And while, India is mourning, the whole country is mourning, but it also firms up our resolve to stand up against our enemies and basically to carry forward the task that General Bipin Rawat had started. When the country is getting together with this resolve, it is for Global Times and for the Chinese government and Communist Party mouthpiece to come up with such sort of absolute rubbish is again trying to demoralize. So I will not spend time, waste time in focusing on it at all, but basically look inwards here and do whatever we need to do. And I'm sure that the country, the leadership will be quite determined and full of resolve to achieve what we need to do.
Ambassador Sajjanhar, please continue to stay with me. We also have Anil Trigunayath, who's also a former diplomat with us, and we wanted to get more reactions on this. Granted that the Global Times is drivel, the Global Times, tends to put out this, these mind games and, playing with emotions, trolling kinds of pieces, to try and play mind games with their adversaries. But at a time like this, one would have expected a certain amount of ethics and measure, even from someone like the Global Times. Sir, what do you think? Mr. Trigunayath, are you surprised at all that China would use a country that is in grief at this time to mock in this horrible, unethical, dishonorable manner?
Well, this is actually, as you know, Global Times is said to be the mouthpiece of the government.
Yeah.
But very often, what comes out of it is a lot of trash and kite flying most of the time. And that is something, it is a trash and it needs to be treated like a trash. And as far as India's modernization or strengthening its army and its forces is concerned or its defenses are concerned, Chinese have had a taste of it in recent times. And this is a process that will continue. And we had a very tragic incident. The country is mourning the death of General Rawat and others. But at the same time, it does not mean that we have become weakened by that. That definitely there is a leadership, and the leadership will continue to work on strengthening our defenses. So I don't think we need to give any attention to this kind of a rubbish. And as Ambassador Sajjanhar has said, and we just need to move on and just sort of just ignore this. I mean, that's what I would say.
Or is this far more sinister, Ambassador? Is this actually grey zone warfare being waged by China because they realize militarily their attempts have failed? I also want to bring in Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow at the Observer Research Foundation, joining us on the broadcast. Ambassador Trigunayath, please stay with us. Ambassador Sajjanhar remains with us on this special broadcast. Sushant Sareen, is this grey zone warfare? Is this China trying to demoralize India, saying you're not battle ready, your forces are not prepared, your pilots are not disciplined, at a time when they are going through worse in their country? Their soldiers are unable to fight in that ultra high altitude, and the casualties they've suffered, that they're hiding from their own nation.
Gaurav, number one, I don't agree that we should ignore this. I think we should take it up and we should show the Chinese to be as petty as they are. But frankly, if the Chinese really think that we are unprepared, we are indisciplined, we are such a, a tin pot kind of an army, why don't they try us out? When they tried us out, they found out what our armed forces are all about. And they regretted it. If the Chinese, and given the Chinese think, because the Chinese want to fight wars which they think they've already won. With India, they've always not had that kind of a situation, whether it was Doklam, and I'm not just talking about Doklam and what has happened in Galwan and Eastern Ladakh, but I'm talking about, let's go back, after the 62 war, the way we regrouped, we've taken on the Chinese.
Yes.
So, look, there is a section of population in India which tries to make the Chinese look 10 feet tall, which they are not. They're actually 5 feet tall. And frankly speaking, if they want to try us out, they can try us out. But the Global Times is a bit of a loudmouth. They are obnoxious. They're all of it. And yet we should not ignore it because it's an official mouthpiece.
Yes.
Even the Pakistanis, who I don't expect any decency from, at least officially from the ISPR, there was a decent statement. The army chiefs and the chairman, joint chiefs of staff, gave their condolences and all of that, which is a decent thing to do.
Yes.
The people of Pakistan did not show that decency because if you look at the Twitter handle and you look at the reactions of the Pakistanis, I did not expect anything better from them. And so I was not surprised. But from the Chinese, this kind of a thing actually shows, and there's only one Hindi word which shows कि अपनी औकात दिखा दी इन्होंने, how घटिया they are, how petty they are.
Absolutely.
And frankly speaking, Gaurav, and I feel very strongly about it because I happened to meet General Rawat a couple of times.
Yes.
Immense respect for the man. I didn't always agree with him, but the greatness of the man was that even when you did not agree with him, he was somebody who could take it, that somebody is disagreeing with you, and he could take it, in the spirit of things.
Absolutely.
It was not that I was disagreeing with him because of certain things, but, it was an intellectual disagreement, and he would talk about it.
No, and he would try to explain it to you because I've had, you're absolutely right, Sushant Sareen. Shiv and I have had a number of conversations with General Bipin Rawat about theaterization, about indigenization, and he would try and get his point across. He would try to convince you. It wasn't like a four-star general was trying to force his point down your throat. He was trying to convince you about his point. Stay with me, Sushant Sareen. Group Captain Amitabh Ranjan. He's a former Mi-17 pilot who joins us on the broadcast. Group Captain Amitabh Ranjan, I wonder if you wasted time reading the drivel that's come out of Global Times in China, where they say that our pilots showed lack of professionalism. They should have either waited or flown around the cloud or gone back, or perhaps our servicing is poor. So they have absolutely no idea what's happened, and yet they have an opinion. Is that grey zone warfare? Is that psychological warfare? And has China failed completely at it and exposed, as Sushant Sareen says, their aukat?
To start off with, Chinese army per se is an army of conscripts. They are not professional army. They are not professional army. We are the largest standing army in the entire world. This factor should be understood by all the viewers and anybody who is interested in knowing about our military powers and what is our military capable of. We are standing army. We are professionals. We are not people who are taken out of school, kicked into joining the armed forces, serve for a mandatory period of 3 to 5 years and then kick back into their professions where they have to perform for the state. Here people who join, they join voluntarily. There are no criminals which join armed forces, unlike in some very advanced countries where people with some criminal records are asked whether you want to have a jail sentence or you would like to join armed forces, they join armed forces. So we are a professional army, and I'm a very proud member, veteran of the same armed forces.
Yes.
Now, to say that our professionalism is questionable, I guess if we can be questioned, then the question should be put back to them. what is your achievement? What have you ever achieved? What did you do? They haven't done anything except stealing technology from around the world. And we have thankfully never done that job. We bought one machine, we bought another lot of it, but we did not reverse engineer, which they have done for each and every equipment which they hold. And very rightly said in the market, yaar ye Chinese maal hai, zyada din nahi tikega. So that is the sentiment.
Is that equally true of their armed forces? Is that equally true? And do the Chinese also realize it? Ki ye Chinese maal hai, nahi tikega. It may try to browbeat you. It may have the money. China may have the money to influence some minds across the world to paint them as if they're 10 feet tall. Major General Dilawar Singh also joins Shiv and I on this special broadcast. General Dilawar, what is your appreciation? General Dilawar, I've seen you in action on ground zero at the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir fighting terrorists. Your appreciation of the Chinese army and Chinese mouthpiece drivel on General Rawat's air crash.
Firstly, I would like to say that we can laugh at it. Why should I be serious about what Global Times writes? I'll only laugh at it. They are not serious. They are trying to create mischief. But at the same time, let me tell you that today, Indian citizen is very, very wise. Our citizens do not get either browbeaten or carried away by any kind of propaganda or deliberate attempt by Chinese or anybody else to change their minds. Our citizens have total faith in the Indian Army, and each citizen of the Army is absolutely loyal, absolutely disciplined, and our combat preparedness is at the highest level, 24/7/365. That's all that I think we need to say. The Chinese can keep saying whatever. Nobody is going to believe them. And as long as somebody's statement is not credible and not trustworthy, I don't think we need to give much credence to it. And I will, in fact, go to the extent of saying that I will not labor on this subject at all.
This is a story that we will continue to track. We just wanted to briefly deviate from our coverage of the Shraddhanjali ceremony to tell our viewers that our northern neighbor is busy doing precisely what nobody really expected them to do, sink to this unethical, dishonorable low level to actually mock a country in grief. So I just wanted to tell our viewers, like Sushant Sareen said, it's not a good idea to ignore these mind games. Let's tackle these mind games and show the world what China's aukat, as he put it, really is. And that's what we've done here on India Today. Okay, now we're done with China. Let's get back to showing you how the country began to bid farewell to the Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, his wife, Mrs. Madhulika Rawat, and the others. These are images and glimpses from that tearful, heartfelt, heartbreaking ceremony at the Palam Air Base, where the 13 souls were bid farewell in this Shraddhanjali ceremony, where the Prime Minister was personally present. And as you can see in these images, he went, personally met each and every family member that was gathered there. The mortal remains had arrived by a special aircraft from Sulur earlier in the evening. As we continue to bid farewell and pay tribute to those who were lost in the shocking tragedy yesterday, we must never ever waver from our quest for the truth, the question that's on every Indian's mind. Why did that helicopter crash? Why are we having to grieve today for the country's top military officer and 12 others in a VIP helicopter flight? How could this have happened? India Today has accessed the last 15 seconds of this helicopter crash, caught on video by a mobile phone on the ground by locals in that area. Watch this report that tells you what that video actually shows, what it suggests, and the questions it raises.
The frightful last moments of the ill-fated chopper, carrying Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, wife Madhulika and 12 defence personnel. Caught on camera by a group of unsuspecting youngsters on ground in the Nilgiris mountains. The chopper can be seen and heard roaring overhead, with no apparent wobble and maintaining what looks like a steady course, but dangerously close to the foliage on the ground, navigating through foggy and misty skies, with apparent bad weather and low cloud cover. The youngsters can be seen stopping on the path, wondering what's going on. The video then catches a loud booming explosion sound in the background as the chopper, now not on camera, crashes into the terrain. Taken aback, the group of young residents are seen exclaiming, "Has it crashed?" The video then abruptly stops, but not before giving some important insight into what exactly went wrong seconds before the fateful mishap. Was it the bad, blinding, misty weather, which often grips these parts of Nilgiris at this time of the season?
The helicopter was definitely flying low because this area, you could see that the entire back area is completely covered in mist. Around 11 o'clock, this whole spot will be covered by mist. And generally, any kind of helicopter sortie that starts from Sulur and coming to Wellington Base, they actually, from that crash point, either take a left or a right. On the left side, there is a hill that is almost twice the size of this one, which is completely covered by mist right now. And that's the only way they can go, and on the right side. But generally, they prefer the left side. And as we speak, you could see the mist is setting in over there. And this is the most kind of unfortunate part.
Did the weather cause cockpit disorientation? Or was it some sudden technical snag? The black box retrieved from the wreckage holds important clues. Bureau Report, India Today.
India is in mourning after Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat's death, along with his wife and 11 servicemen who also lost their lives in that tragic helicopter crash. The country has paid tribute to these brave hearts. Here's more about the soldiers who died on Wednesday.
उस हेलीकॉप्टर में सवार कुल 14 लोगों में से 13 लोगों की मृत्यु हो गई। आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के अन्य 9 लोग शामिल हैं। उनके नाम हैं विंग कमांडर पृथ्वी सिंह चौहान, स्क्वाड्रन लीडर कुलदीप सिंह, जूनियर वारंट ऑफिसर राणा प्रताप दास, जूनियर वारंट ऑफिसर अरक्कल प्रदीप, हरविंदर सतपाल राय, नायक गुरुसेवक सिंह, नायक जितेंद्र कुमार, लांस नायक विवेक कुमार, लांस नायक बी साई तेजाब।
From the topmost military officer to armed forces jawans, India mourns the deaths in the Nilgiris chopper crash. A decorated soldier, caring husband and doting father, brightest and bravest of the officers, words that describe Brigadier Lakhbinder Singh Liddar, military advisor to Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat. The brigadier is survived by his wife Geetika, a school teacher, and a 16-year-old daughter.
32 साल से इकट्ठे रह रहे हैं। उसकी जो पर्सनालिटी थी, हंसमुख, मिलनसार और बहुत ही अच्छे नेचर का था।
Lieutenant Colonel Harjinder Singh belonged to the 11 Gorkha Rifles, the same regiment as General Bipin Rawat. His missions included one at the Siachen Glacier and another on a UN peacekeeping mission. Wing Commander Prithvi Singh Chauhan was the pilot flying the helicopter that crashed. The 42-year-old from Agra was posted at the Indian Air Force Station in Sulur, where he was commanding officer of the 109 helicopter unit. Wing Commander Chauhan is survived by his wife Kamini, a 12-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son.
यादें तो कभी मिट नहीं सकती, क्योंकि उन्होंने इस तरह से उनका नेचर और जिस तरह से उनका मेहनती और वो सारी चीज़ें थी उनके अंदर, जो क्वालिटियाँ थी, वो याद ही करने लायक थी। आप बताएं।
Squadron leader Kuldeep Singh was the co-pilot of the Mi-17 that crashed. His father is a former Navy officer. His family currently lives in Jaipur. Kuldeep Singh had gotten married just 2 years ago.
आज पूरे गांव में शोक की लहर है। कुलदीप राव का व्यक्तित्व बहुत ही शानदार व्यक्तित्व था। एक ईमानदार, कर्तव्यनिष्ठ और समाज सेवी के रूप में उनकी अलग से पहचान थी। भाई कुलदीप राव की शहादत को हम सैल्यूट करते हैं। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Rana Pratap Das was a junior warrant officer and a native of Talcher in Angul district of Odisha. Rana had completed 12 years in service and was posted in Delhi, where he lived with his wife and son. Arakkal Pradeep, a junior warrant officer, joined the Air Force in 2002 as a weapon fitter and was later selected as part of the air crew. A veteran of anti-Naxal operations in Chhattisgarh and flood rescue missions in Uttarakhand and Kerala, Pradeep was posted at the Sulur Air Force Station. He is survived by his wife and 2 children. Havildar Satpal Rai was the personal security officer of General Bipin Rawat. He was from Darjeeling. Naik Gursevak Singh was a member of Bipin Rawat's security squad. A resident of Punjab's Taran Taran, Gursevak was posted in the 9 Para Special Forces unit of the army. Lance Naik Vivek Kumar was the principal staff officer of General Bipin Rawat from Himachal's Kangra. Vivek was in the JNK Rifles and also served in a Para Commando unit, engaged in VIP security. Married only last year, he is survived by his wife and a 6-month-old son. Lance Naik B. Sai Teja was a personal security officer of General Rawat, a prestigious posting that he got just 7 months ago. From Andhra's Chittur, Teja had joined the Indian Army in 2012. He is survived by his parents, wife and 2 children, a 3-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. The family says Lance Naik Sai Teja last spoke to his wife on Wednesday, moments before boarding the helicopter with Chief of Defence Staff Rawat. Naik Jitendra Kumar was from Dhamanda village in Madhya Pradesh. He had completed 8 years in the army and is survived by his wife, a 4-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. These men lost their lives in the line of duty, but will continue to live in the collective memory of a grateful and grieving nation. Bureau Report, India Today. And as the nation pays tribute to those lost, it is also keeping in its prayers the sole survivor in this horrific military chopper accident, Group Captain Varun Singh. He suffered extensive burn injuries and is currently undergoing treatment, critical treatment, at the Command Hospital in Bengaluru. He was pulled out of the wreckage of the Mi-17 V5 helicopter alive. Group Captain Varun Singh, Shaurya Chakra, the lone survivor of the horrific tragedy. He was breathing but had severe burn injuries and was rushed to the military hospital in Wellington by emergency services. Group Captain Varun, directing staff at the Defence Services Staff College in Wellington, was escorting the Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, and his entourage to the Staff College, where he was to deliver a lecture. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in Parliament on Thursday gave details of Group Captain Varun's condition.
क्रैश साइट से सर्वाइवर्स को रिकवर करने का भी प्रयास किया। उस अवशेष से जितने भी लोगों को निकाला जा सका, उन सबको यथाशीघ्र वेलिंगटन के मिलिट्री हॉस्पिटल पहुंचाया गया। कुल 14 लोगों में से 13 लोगों की मृत्यु हो गई। ग्रुप कैप्टन वरुण सिंह वेलिंगटन के मिलिट्री हॉस्पिटल में लाइफ सपोर्ट पर हैं और उन्हें बचाने के हर संभव प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं।
Group Captain Varun is a true survivor. He was awarded the nation's 3rd highest gallantry award, the Shaurya Chakra, for his amazing grit, determination and valor. In October 2020, then Wing Commander Varun was test flying a Tejas light combat aircraft on a test sortie. With deft handling of the aircraft, despite the fighter plane pitching wildly, he brought it under control, choosing not to eject, but to land the aircraft, putting his life at grave risk, but saving a valuable national asset and lives on the ground. Group Captain Varun Singh, a fighter pilot, a role model for many, was posted to the Staff College to motivate future commanders. Group Captain Varun is a second-generation officer hailing from Uttar Pradesh. 1 billion prayers are now on for his speedy and complete recovery. Bureau Report, India Today. The question every Indian is asking, what was the reason behind this military chopper accident? Was it poor visibility? Was there a technical fault? Was there an engine failure? Was there a combination of things? What led to this accident that has taken the lives of India's top military officer, his wife, and 11 others? Defense officials have retrieved the black box from the wreckage of the doomed Mi-17 V5 helicopter. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has also informed Parliament that a tri-services inquiry has begun into this chopper tragedy.
The Mi-17 V5 chopper crash that killed CDS General Bipin Rawat has shaken India's entire armed forces establishment. How could an advanced chopper with modern equipment and good safety record crash? Some experts suggest bad weather could be the reason. Others fear there could have been a last-second technical snag.
The video which has been shot just prior, they indicate that this helicopter has entered some kind of weather phenomena. Why? There can be two plausible explanations for that. One being, it had some emergency on board, which forced the helicopter to enter such a situation from which it could not come out. And the images subsequently on the ground, they show that the helicopter has impacted with a very high speed. So it is not something which is like the helicopter was in control while it was nearing the terrain.
The answers lie in the black box, which was recovered from the dense Nilgiri forest by the search teams on Thursday. The black box has two key components, the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder that will reveal what really happened in those final moments. In addition to the black box, the investigation will also bank on the lone survivor, Group Captain Varun Singh. The probe is being carried out by a tri-service team headed by Air Marshal Manvendra Singh. The high-level probe was announced by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in Parliament.
इस दुर्घटना के संबंध में इंडियन एयरफोर्स द्वारा एयर मार्शल मानवेंद्र सिंह की अध्यक्षता में एक ट्राई सर्विस इंक्वायरी के भी आदेश दे दिए गए हैं। इंक्वायरी टीम के ऑफिसर्स ने कल ही वेलिंगटन पहुंचकर अपना कार्य भी प्रारंभ कर दिया है।
Wednesday's chopper crash and the loss of India's top military officer, his wife and 11 other servicemen is a horror that India is still coming to terms with. There are several questions. 1 billion Indians await the answers. Bureau Report, India Today.
I spoke to one of General Bipin Rawat's closest friends, someone who grew up with him from childhood, went to the academy together and served together in the Indian Army. Here's what he told me, reminiscing about his friend. Some memories of General Rawat, General Chauhan, of your growing up years. You must be having so many of him. What are the most memorable times that you can share with us with General Rawat? I mean, you've seen him at literally every phase of his life.
Level, yes, we were children together. We were in the NDA together. What strikes me is that General Bipin could deal with disaster. He could deal with difficult times.
Let me just give you an idea. We were traveling together. We were traveling together in Kashmir. He was commanding the Sopore Brigade, and I was commanding the Shopian Brigade, which are not that close, but close enough as far as South Kashmir is concerned. And General Bipin one day rang me up in the morning, and he says, he used to call me Kancha, that is actually younger brother, and I used to call him Dai, which is elder brother, in Nepali, because we were both from good cousin. So he says, Kancha, I'm coming to meet you. So I said, sure enough, sir, please come. So he drove, he came through an ambush, he was ambushed on the way, but that didn't stop General Bipin from actually coming over. And when he came, he just, he said, no problem, just a couple of shots were fired at me. And we had lunch together. And, you know, the thing was that he was continuously guiding and motivating and teaching me. And he would tell me, you know, Kancha, do this, or this is the way we should do this. And this is how you deal with the people in Shopian. Or, because I had Shopian, Pulwama, Kulgam, and all these difficult areas with me. And he had Sopore. So we would share experiences. We would talk almost every day about those experiences. So what I found with General Bipin was that he was a great mentor to have, a great elder brother to have.
Yeah.
You know, that I would be. We did the staff college course together. General Bipin would be always there. You know, he would come to me every day, or come home every day, or second day, and he'd say, Kancha, let's do this together, or let's you know. So the thing was that he was always with us. He was always there for any kind of advice that you needed. He would give a keen ear to a lot of issues. We grew together. We literally grew through all the ranks together. I remember we traveling together during the National Defence College course. Moment we get off somewhere, and this is a very binding memory.
Yeah.
That moment we'd get off anywhere, he'd say, Kancha, come, let's go for a walk. We may have traveled 12 hours, but General Bipin had to take a walk. It just didn't matter. He would get off the bus and he would say, come on, let's go. And we would whether it was Italy where we were visiting, or Switzerland where we visited subsequently, General Bipin had to take a walk. One day he decided that he would take me for a swim. And it was actually almost 13 degrees outside. The pool was really cold, but he said, no, we must do it. And he always did it, you know. Yeah. So he was a great guy. And like I said, because he was so plain speaking and because he was so clear in what he was doing, General Bipin was often not liked, because he would not hesitate to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
That was the issue with him, and that's what he always did. He told me, he said, look, I have no time for being nice. You know, he is where he is. He was the right man for the job, and as I said in the beginning, he had the heart for being the first Chief of Defence Staff.
Absolutely.
You require a very big heart to deal with whatever the enormous challenges that he had. And the other thing I always found about General Bipin was the love he had for the men. You know, wherever we were, and we've been together in so many places, he would make a beeline for the men. He would say, come, Kancha, let's go. And let's go and meet the troops. And he would be with the troops. We would dance. You know, he knew all the Nepali songs, and he was a marvelous dancer. Very infectious, enthusiastic person, and huge energy. I didn't actually know where he got the energy from.
As the military and the nation grieve, as always, the show must go on and shoes must be filled. The question is, who will be the country's next Chief of the Defence Staff? Watch this report.
Chief of Defence Staff, India's topmost military post. The single point advisor to the Prime Minister on defence matters. The post of CDS was created to improve coordination between the Army, Air Force and Navy. The untimely death of General Bipin Rawat has left a gap in the country's top military leadership. India today has learned that the government is likely to name the new CDS in a week's time. Sources say there is no clear and immediate line of succession for the CDS. It is principally a decision that the government takes, keeping in mind the border security challenges. What are the criteria for choosing India's next topmost military chief? Any commanding officer of the three services, that is Army, Air Force and Navy, is eligible for the post of the CDS. Army Chief General Naravane is the first in line of succession. Of the three serving chiefs, General Naravane is the senior-most officer in the military after General Rawat. General Naravane took over as the Army Chief from General Bipin Rawat in December 2019. His tenure as Army Chief ends in April 2022.
All of us just only contribute to our professionalism all our life. You just pick up a general today anywhere and he'll be able to fit into the boots of General Rawat in a matter of a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He has to be probably guided into it a little bit. And the armed forces have their ways of doing it. All three services have their own ways of doing it.
The government could weigh the situation on the border with China while naming the CDS. From Ladakh in the western sector to Arunachal Pradesh in the eastern sector, China has been aggressively attempting to change the status quo unilaterally. The army is on the front lines handling the Chinese threat, and this could influence the government's decision. Whoever is named the CDS has big boots to fill. General Bipin Rawat had brought in several modernization initiatives which need to be followed through. Restructuring the Indian Armed Forces on the lines of theatre command was among the top priorities of General Rawat.
There is a need to integrate the airspace under one unified command. And therefore, we will be going in for creation of an air defense command where one commander will be responsible for ensuring the entire management of the airspace above.
Theatrization is the concept of integrating all three services under one commander and combining the strengths of the armed forces to deliver the best punch in the battle. The move had raised concerns in the Air Force and Navy. The next CDS will have to smoothen the rough edges and bring all on board. Bureau Report, India Today.
I'm leaving you with these images of Bhutan's king holding a special prayer ceremony, mourning the death of Bhutan's dear friend General Bipin Rawat and the other braves who lost their lives in the helicopter accident. Hundreds of candles were lit in the memory of this friend of Bhutan, General Bipin Rawat.